Sirach chapter 7. If you do no wrong will ever come to you. Do not plow the ground to plant seeds of injustice. You may reap a bigger harvest than you expect. Don't ask the Lord for a place of honor or ask the king for an important position. Don't try to convince the Lord that you are righteous or make a show of your wisdom before the king. Don't set your heart on being a judge unless you have the strength of character it takes to put an end to injustice. If you let yourself be influenced by someone in a position of power, your integrity will be damaged. Don't commit any crime against the general public, and don't disgrace yourself among your townspeople. Don't commit the same sin twice. The punishment you get the first time ought to be enough. Don't think that God Most High is going to take into account how very generous you are, and so accept any offering you decide to make. Never get tired of praying, and never miss a chance to give to the poor. Don't laugh at someone who has been humiliated. It is the Lord who humbles a person, but the Lord also raises him up again. Don't think up lies to tell about your friends. Don't tell lies at all. It never does any good. In an official assembly, don't get up and talk a lot of nonsense. Don't repeat yourself when you pray. Don't try to avoid farm work or other hard labor. The Most High has given us these jobs to do. Don't join up with a crowd of sinners. Remember that the Lord's punishment is sure to come. Be very humble because the decay of life awaits us all. Don't betray a friend for money. Don't betray a real friend for all the gold in the world. Don't miss your chance to marry a wise and good woman. A gracious wife is worth more than gold. Don't mistreat servants who do their work well or employees who do their best for you. Show the same love to wise servants that you show to yourself, and let them have their freedom. Take good care of any animals you own. If they make money for you, keep them. If you have sons, educate them. Teach them self-discipline when they are young. If you have daughters, keep them virtuous, and don't be too indulgent with them. When you give your daughter in marriage, you have finished a great task, but give her to a sensible man. If you have a good wife, do not divorce her, but do not trust yourself to someone you don't love. Honor your father with all your heart, and never forget how your mother suffered when you were born. Remember that you owe your life to them. How can you ever repay them for all they have done for you? Fear the Lord with all your heart, and have respect for his priests. Love your Creator with all your strength, and give his ministers your support. Honor the Lord and respect the priests. Supply them with what you have been commanded to give: the first produce, the offering for sin, the shoulder of sacrificial animal, and all required sacrifices and offerings. Give your help to the poor, and the Lord will give you his perfect blessing. Be generous to every loving soul, and be gracious to the memory of the dead. Show sympathy to those who have lost a loved one, and mourn with them. Do not hesitate to visit the sick. You will be loved for things like this. Whatever you do, remember that someday you must die. As long as you keep this in mind, you will never sin. Chapter 8. Do not challenge a person who has influence. You may fall into his power. Do not quarrel with someone rich. He may bribe people to turn against you. Gold has destroyed many people and corrupted kings. Don't argue with someone who talks too much. You will just be adding fuel to the fire. Don't make fun of someone who has bad manners. He may insult your ancestors. Don't criticize someone if he is already turning away from sin. Remember that we are all guilty. Never think less of someone because he is old. Some of us are growing old too. Don't be happy over the death of anyone. Remember that all of us must die. Do not disregard what the wise have said. Study their proverbs. From them you can learn to be cultured and to serve great people. Pay attention to what old people say, for they learn from those who came before them. You can learn from them, and they can teach you how to have an answer ready when you need one. You should not provide a sinner with more opportunity to sin. You might get hurt yourself. It is as easy as getting burned while adding logs to a fire. You should not get up and walk out on someone who is insolent. He might twist your words and use them against you. You should not lend anything to someone more powerful than you. If you do, you may as well consider it lost. You should not guarantee anyone else's loan to an extent that you cannot afford. You must be prepared to pay any such guarantee. You should not bring a lawsuit against a judge. He will win because of his position. You should not travel with anyone who is reckless. It will cause you nothing but trouble. He will do any foolish thing he pleases, and you will die with him. You should not get into an argument with anyone who has a hot temper, or go to some place where the two of you will be alone. Violence means nothing to such a person, and he will attack you when there is no one to help you. You should not ask a stupid person for advice. He will not be able to keep secret what you tell him. You should not do anything in front of a stranger that should be kept secret. There is no way of knowing what will happen if you do. You should not reveal your most private thoughts to anyone. If you do, you may as well throw away any chance of happiness.